Hello, Sheila. I don't believe that marches should be banned. I think it would be a really dangerous and regressive step, and I agree with pretty much all the reasons that you've set out. But like one of your previous callers, or possibly more than one, I do think there should be much more active policing and a sharper ear and eye out on language and signage that is, contrary to public good. Never mind about how Jews feel. How we all, I am Jewish, but I'm not only Jewish. I'm also a Londoner. I'm a wife, a mother, a daughter. I have a job. I have a community, and for that community and that life I have to be positive, and for everyone in that world, the world I inhabit, to enjoy that, we all of us have to protect these freedoms. One of those freedoms is that we can march and express our political views and opinions, not without any perimeters around that. There have to be, because it's a balance between free speech and free
responsibilities.
And responsibility. But where I think there isn't enough conversation, and I know it's something that you have touched on before, but I think it's not getting nearly enough political or media attention, possibly because it's just a much more complicated subject to really get one's teeth into, is where we protect our institutions from all this. So I'm thinking about our schools,
NHS,
our colleges, our universities, the NHS, our councils. And I work in the public sector. I work for a charity, but within the NHS. So I'm seeing it, a great deal. My husband works in a London university.
What are you seeing?
I'm seeing institutional racism, which in this particular moment is often anti-Semitism, freely expressed. And, we had the situation very recently, we'll talk about local politics, of the two Green candidates. So I think two of them were arrested, another one seems to have been dropped, for saying really awful things online, but profoundly anti-Semitic and violent. The most cursory vetting process would have revealed that. You would have had to spend about 20 seconds online to see it.
And it wasn't done.
And it wasn't done.
Can I ask you how you feel about, because obviously the Prime Minister has spoken about globalise the Intifada and says it's clearly a call to harm Jews and kill Jews. What about the statement that Israel has no right to exist, or Israel's existence being questioned? Because I know that at least one sort of political area, that jurisdiction in Germany is looking at making that illegal.
I think it's such a big conversation. I also think...
Because we wouldn't say make France... we wouldn't say questioning France's right to exist, would we?
Well, of course. I mean, that's a separate issue. There is the hypocrisy. Would you question North America's right to exist? Would you question South Africa's right to exist? Well, very possibly. Would you question Australia's right to exist? There are an awful lot of countries that have come into existence by taking the land that was formerly occupied.
Well, almost every country over history, but in recent history.
To go back far enough. So what it is about this particular country that has really become such a hot potato?
Well, I think we know, don't we?
Well, we do know the answer to that, yep. But even if we put that answer aside, let's think, would it be helpful, practical, in any way to say, you can't say that, you can't think it? Well, of course not. If you think Israel shouldn't exist, fine. You might well think that. But what you can't do is then say, because I think that way, I'm going to go and stab a person in Golders Green. Exactly.
And then say, I'm not going to stand in, then fail to say I'll stand in support of those people. That's just another bit of a red flag, isn't it, as well? Catherine, thank you. Catherine in Muswell Hill. I'm nervous about the idea of them being banned as well, for all the reasons that you've outlined. Whether there is hypocrisy afoot in the treatment of pro-Palestinian marches in comparison to far-right marches. Jarvis, what are you seeing?
Hello. Well, first of all, that last woman was fantastic. She said all the right things.
Catherine in Muswell Hill.
It was Catherine, yeah. Yes, I mean, we've got problems down here in Bournemouth. I mean, I go to the synagogue, and we've now, on Saturday, the Sabbath, we had 5 policemen. I think there were 2 police cars nearby. We're getting worried, and there are 3 synagogues, and we're talking about the CST, CST,
yes,
which is in charge.
Communities Security Trust.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they're talking that we're going to have to put, I think, metal doors on our synagogue to replace the doors because they're getting worried. I mean, why should it come to this?
I know.
And the roundabout, which is quite a main roundabout in Bournemouth, on a Friday night, outside one of the hotels which has got the migrants in, you have the protesters on this side, on that side of the road. On the other side of the road, you've got the protesters say, well, leave the migrants alone. I mean, it's gone mad,
Yeah, and I guess, that's just, as long as it's non-violent, that's just an expression of people's views, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the world we know it's becoming, that in the end, I don't think there's so many marches that go on in London. I don't think a lot of people know what they're marching
against. I'd love to know the economic impact of not just yes, the pro-Palestinian marches, because they tend to have been the largest, but not just them. I'd love to know the economic impact, because there's no doubt it puts people off coming into London at the weekend.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, my son goes on these marches, which angers me terribly. We have different views.
Give me a flavour of your discussions.
Well, he lives in Bristol and he's totally Green Party. He loves the Green Party, and I can't tell you, we've come to nearly falling out completely, and it breaks my heart.
Well, what's he saying that's so difficult for you?
Well, he doesn't believe. He doesn't think I believe. I believe 101% in God. He doesn't. He thinks I just don't believe in it. And we've come to a terrible blow last night. And this is what's called, I'm sure it's not just my family.
How old is he?
He's 50. We will be 50 in a few weeks' time.
Oh, so he's not a student kid who's...
Oh, he's a very, very clever boy, but I think he's too clever. Sometimes a little bit of wisdom is too dangerous,
I mean, you won't be the only father and son who one believes in God and one doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But his views, what can I do, It's very, very difficult.
Are you
Anyway.
talking about his views generally, or his views on Israel and Palestine?
Oh yeah, I mean, what you've had conversations about is totally, and we had a conversation where he thinks that he denies that some of the things that went on in the kibbutzes on October 7th, actually, he's talking about the babies, were all lies.
Okay.
And I've seen videos, and they don't lie,
And we know that the Bebas children were throttled to death.
Oh, absolutely, no, So I don't know where he gets his information from, but he thinks that I'm ignorant. I watch a lot of... I like Tommy Robinson. I'm sort of ashamed to say it. And that, to me, is another point, the hypocrisy. There's a lot of Jewish people that like Trump because he's for Israel. And the same hypocrisy is, whatever people think about Tommy Robinson, he doesn't like the Muslims, but he's for the Jews.
But the reason he's found his inner Jew is because he's racist towards Muslims, and he came
from Luton, where he was brought up in this environment.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying. I mean, you support whoever you wish, Jarvis. I'm just saying that Tommy Robinson's support for the Jewish community is relatively new, and it is off the back of his own loathing of Muslims. And if I were a Jew, I could pass on that support. I think I could live without support from Tommy Robinson. But anyway, thank you, Jarvis. I wish you well. Thank you. And you're right that it shouldn't be coming to super reinforced doors on our synagogues. It absolutely, or anywhere. It absolutely shouldn't. Thank you.